Welcome to the Business L&K podcast. We're here in the AOI Podcast Studio at the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, and I'm Katie Andersen with LPED, the Lincoln Partnership for Economic Development. Today, I'm very excited. We have Katie Haifley with us in the studio. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy.
Yeah, and there has been a very exciting news item recently. So Katie is the co-founder and COO/CMO of Nobl Health, a fantastic Lincoln startup that we're going to talk a little bit more about. But we brought her in the studio today because Nobl was recently acquired. So Katie, tell us a little bit more about you, perhaps why you decided to jump all in with Nobl or, wherever you want to take it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, and thank you for having me on the podcast today. My name's Katie Haifley, like you said, co-founder of Nobl Health, but now director of product at NRC Health for the rounding platform there. When we think about how Nobl got our start, my pathway to entrepreneurship is, I would say, a little bit different than most. And full circle moment, it comes back to the chamber, actually, funny enough. So back in 2012, we started working on Nobl because of the Healthcare Connect competition. And what that was Lincoln Partnership for Economic Development partnered with Bryan Health, which is a large health system here based out of Lincoln. And it was a reverse pitch competition. So it was really cool. They said, hey, we have this problem and we're seeking businesses or entrepreneurs, just anyone who wants to pitch us an idea. And so there was a lot of great content that they had produced to get people ready for it. And our team showed up. We had built a prototype. So this was back in 2012. I think we pitched in 2013 was the competition. Might have my dates a little bit off there.
No, you're correct.
Year. Okay.
2013 Healthcare Connect.
Yep. Okay. It was the end of the year that I think we started working on it. Beginning of the year, we pitched it. And it was myself and 3 other founders at the time. My background's in design, marketing, UI, UX. And then we had 2 developers and a business person as well. So we all got together, created a prototype. We were the only ones that had a working prototype at the competition.
Wonderful. Heck yes.
We pitched it. And so what we won was 120 days, I say sink or swim type pilot in a hospital, which is quite incredible to have that opportunity. First off, healthcare is a difficult market to get into. The barrier of entry, right, is definitely there. And so to have an organization say, hey, we're going to allow you to create a product and actually use it in a healthcare setting as a pilot is just quite incredible. And so that summer of 2013, we had the opportunity to have nurses use our platform. And, it was a no paid pilot, had to prove yourself, had to have ROI right away. And after that, we were able to see some of the initial results of the product, and we were able to increase patient satisfaction within those 120 days and reduce patient falls. And so, the beginning of our story is just so unusual, right? Like we partnered with a customer that had a problem. Instead of just kind of inventing or figuring out what problems exist and trying to find customers, we really were collaborating with a customer early on. And I'll be forever grateful for that experience, right?
Yeah, and that still exists. The reverse pitch at the Jumpstart Challenge. We've held different themes over the years. And yeah, kudos to Bryan Health. They really show up and they show that leadership in connecting with nascent businesses and connecting with the community. Wow, 120 days sink or swim. You had to prove ROI in that time.
Yeah.
What a fast-paced client engagement, prospective customer engagement.
Yeah, it really was. this was right after I had just graduated from college. And so I actually was working full time in Omaha at the time. So I was commuting to Omaha every day, coming back. And then after work, I would go to the hospital and I would talk with end users. And you would learn the good, but you would also learn the bad, right? What do we need to change? What do we need to improve about our software? And that sort of hustle is just, I think about the amount of energy that you devote to the early years of running a business. And I mean, as business owners, that you're probably listening to this podcast, that there's different phases of your business, but those early years, early days, just the amount of hours that you put in, blood, sweat, and tears is just quite incredible. But yeah, I was working, no exaggeration, 12, 14-hour days sometimes, talking with customers. And our customers were nurses, right? People that were using our software in a live patient environment. So we learned a lot early on about how to produce software that is really value driven, because as they should, nurses will not use your product if it does not provide value.
As they should, yeah.
As they should, right? They're very busy people, so you had to provide value to them and allow for a platform to be able to help their experience and help their workflow.
I really love your focus on the customer. It's something we try to advise, early and often, get that right, that fall in love with the customer and the problem. And that continues for you today, right? So fast forward, Can you tell us a little bit more about the acquisition, maybe starting with the inception? How did the relationship start?
Yeah, so we were acquired by NRC Health, which is actually National Research Corporation, publicly traded company based out of Lincoln. So first off, that's
Wonderful.
Just amazing, yes. Right? Not every company can find a permanent home for their company or their product by joining up with another company in their own same town. Now, NRC Health services customers, hospitals, health systems all throughout the United States, and they have a lot of employees outside of Lincoln, but their headquarters is here in downtown Lincoln, in fact, which is really cool. But for years, our product has integrated with their product. So NRC Health has a human understanding platform. So very adjacent market to ours, where we're having conversations with patients and employees and capturing those in our platform. They're doing that really through a survey modality and a lot of other ways that they're listening to patients and employees. Now, ours is very much a conversation. So like a leader would come talk with a patient or talk with their employee about experience, their engagement. And so very adjacent markets. And so our software has integrated with theirs for years, where any past surveys that maybe a patient had filled out is going to show up if they're in the hospital and a leader is rounding on them in our platform. So they can see what those past experiences are like to better serve them during this experience. And so we've had that relationship for a while. And it just so happened that their organization is going through a really big change as well. They're bringing in a lot of innovation, very product focused. And they looked at their portfolio and looked at what gaps they had in their portfolio of products. And it just so happened to be that they didn't have a rounding platform. And so we were able to fulfill that gap in their portfolio so they can better compete with their competitors, right? And have a completely matched portfolio. So it worked out that, they came to us and we started working on the acquisition about 6 months before we closed, really started to work on it. And so, that was a whirlwind experience.
Well, and a whirlwind and lots of hard work, those 6 months, for our audience who might be more in the startup or early stages who are thinking about exit potential or what an acquisition looks like. Do you have any words of wisdom for those listeners?
Yeah. To no surprise there, like it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think we were chatting before this and I said, it's like two full-time jobs, right? So you're still running your business, your company, but then you're trying to get acquired. So, every day is a test. Every day you always bring your A game, right? But every meeting, You want to make sure you bring your best. Every document you're producing for the acquisition. So you're just running not only a marathon, but a super marathon is how I've described it to other people, where it is a full-on sprint for 6 months, just producing your best work possible to be acquired. You don't want to do anything to have the deal fall through. And we ran it pretty quick. I know 6 months seems like a long time, but from an acquisition perspective, that's actually pretty quick. We ran diligence and legal paperwork at the same time. So you can imagine there was a lot of different work streams happening at any given time. And yeah, it was crazy, but good.
Yes. And it's a credit to, like you said, you've done a very good job of having a great product in the market, and you already had this working relationship with NRC. So probably a lot of your past work really added up to your ability to pull that off in 6 months. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think the relationships that we already had established with them, there was mutual culture, mutual understanding of each other. So I think that was really helpful. So I think business leaders, organizations that are listening to this, that are startups, that are thinking about hey, how do we get acquired? To no surprise, it's going to be a lot of work, but really try to find that company that's going to be a good fit long term. Find what I've always said is try to find a good home for your business. We've been really fortunate that our whole team came over. We were able to be slotted in as a team within a larger organization. Whereas that's not always the case with acquisitions. Sometimes the product or the company drastically changes. And for us, we were able just to do our same work in a larger home now.
Wonderful. Yes. And as the people working really hard to build economic activity in Lincoln, we're really excited to hear that.
Yeah.
This is good. Now, beyond the press release, what was something, what was fun or what was something surprising or what's something we haven't read about yet that you'd be able to share?
Yeah. I think what's really cool is just all the innovation that we're going to be a part of, which I'm really excited about with NRC. There's a big focus on AI at NRC Health now, as with any industry, right? AI is really changing how we do our work and how our products are built and made, right? And so I'm super excited coming year to introduce AI into our platform. They've already done it at NRC Health with their larger PX platform and some of the other solutions. So I'm excited to be able to utilize, they have a dedicated AI team to utilize that, to add that into our platform. And so those sort of things that are what's to come for Nobl within NRC.
Very good. And for anybody wondering, PX is patient experience, right?
Yes.
Yes. Katie lives and breathes this. So yes,
absolutely.
Patient experience. Well, that's wonderful. And how exciting. I mean, so we're big supporters of NMotion as well.
Yeah.
And this is the third NMotion exit, I believe.
Yes.
So hopefully many more in store for that whole portfolio and for startups in Lincoln.
Absolutely. Yeah. We were part of the first class in 2013. So I think the first 3 classes, there's been someone that's exited from that program. So super exciting in those early years too, something that I think is really important for entrepreneurs and business leaders in Lincoln is there's so many good resources out there, especially for early stage businesses. So look up all the different events that are going on that you can connect people with, find a mentor, we found our mentors that helped our business through events like NMotion, through events that, the chamber had, different things like that, allow you to make those connections and find people to help you out early on.
Those are very wise words of advice. Yes. +1 to all of that. Excellent. Coming back to the present day and looking beyond, you're probably still adjusting to new role, new position, and how, what's your outlook, either, you personally, things you're excited about, or the ecosystem, anything as you look to 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, I think I'm excited about continuing to build products, right? So I've been a builder for the last decade of my professional career. And when I say builder, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, but I like to create things at the end of the day. Like that's how I find my purpose and passion. So whether that's doing my own thing, like I did with Nobl, or within a larger company. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm excited for the next few years just to continue to build products. But beyond that, I don't know. I don't know if, I've gotten that question a little bit, like, are you going to start something else? And like, I want to just build a product within a corporation right now, see what that's like. But I'll always be creating and building. So, and I already have some ideas on some other things too. So,
Oh, excellent. People will have to find you and ask you more about that. But it's a great problem to have a lot of good work on your hands, and a lot of good, leadership and ideas that you'll be able to execute on now as well. So, yeah. And anything else, any asks for the audience, or, final calls to action, or things that we should know?
Yeah, I think that when I think about Nobl's journey and how far we've come, and it got to the point of being acquired, um, you know, running a business, starting a business, especially for those out there, living that startup life, it's tough. It takes grit, right? So, just remember that. Like, I feel like the word grit was with me for 10 years, and it was like my word of the year every year. Grit. Like, keep going, keep persevering, keep finding new paths, pivot if you need to, swivel sometimes. And make connections, utilize your resources. Lincoln is a great city to live and grow a business in, and there's a lot of people out there that want to help, and a lot of people out there that you can make connections with. So just know you're not alone, and you've got a lot of resources behind you. And even if you connect with someone, they're like, I don't know how to solve that problem for you, but talk with this person. I got that quite a bit where, I would talk with someone else and they gave me really sound advice that, they thought was just easy, something that they do every day. And for me, it was, really profound for my business. So, and also, I would encourage, even if you're not running your own business, but maybe you're an expert in your field, get involved with business owners, startup community, mentor. Like I said, so much, and people in the startup community, there might be something that you live and do every single day that could just be a nugget that could really help them and help them learn and grow their business.
Here. Really good point. There are so many industries. It's not just our professional services we think of legal, accounting, et cetera. Of course, there are lots of startup questions for those individuals, but also creatives and, people in a completely different sphere who are doing things and have a completely different way of doing a workflow or approaching a problem. Yes, I full-heartedly agree. And I think it's a very beneficial for both sides that if you want to get in touch with the startup world and you show up, it's a really great energy. There's a lot of ideas being shared and a great attitude of mutual giving. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What can I do to help the community?
Oh, well, this is great. Having you on the podcast is fantastic. It really is, because people want to know about these startups who are building things and exiting and seeing the people who are behind all of that work. So I commend you for that. Also, you serve on the board of NMotion. Yeah. So thank you for that as well. Katie, you're already showing up and supporting. So, if we as the community can, keep seeing your face and keep relying on you and calling on you for things like this, that would be what I would ask for.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thanks, everybody. Again, Katie Haifley, we're so excited to have her in the studio today. And like she said, get in touch, participate, go to the Startup L&K calendar, check out LPED and things like the Launch L&K grant. There are so many resources out there, so many things happening, and we look forward to connecting you. So thank you very much.